Well, greetings, Blade fans. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be when you're watching this, where you're watching it from. Well, this is revisiting Rike, the Rike Knife Company. You'll see some reviews, maybe many reviews actually, out on my channel of this brand. And we don't want to forget about it because they have been great innovators. They make a solid knife. They also make some crazy fancy knives, the Thor series. If you check those out, some of them are up to like $600. But what we're focusing on here are 3 Rike knives with some great EDC capabilities. These 3 are solid performers with solid steels ranging from N690CO to 154cm. And we're going to start with the most unique of the bunch. Why not? This is the Rike Tule. And what makes it unique is that it is the first integral frame G10 knife. Yep, it is an integral handle. This is a steel insert. I believe it's steel. Let's check that out. Actually, it's titanium. So it's got a titanium insert. I always have to check. It has inserts of OD green G10. This comes in a variety of colors. Some of them will blast your eyes right out, bright colors and inserts. It is an extremely light knife. Has a blade of 154cm, smooth action, and listen to this sound. Did that near the mic for you. Kind of a hollow clack. Very authoritative. This isn't really used for going forward on the blade. I could feel the point of that just as I placed my finger there. Has a nice deep carry clip. We'll probably do some quick measurements and weights on these. I may or may not post them in text, so you can sort of listen carefully and jot them down as I go through them. We're going to turn our scale on here, and we're going to go back and weigh these all up and measure these all up after the initial introduction. So the Tule, a nice bead blast. Almost doesn't look bead blasted, it's just so smooth. They're all going to turn out to be in the ballpark of 3 3/4 inches or better. They are large knives, but again, in this case, extremely light. This is a great EDC knife because it's so light and because it's a full-size knife. Nice drop point blade, sharp 154cm. As I say, titanium here. The clip really looks like it's, yep, it is a steel. This came out like about a year ago. I did my initial review on it. Unfortunately, they didn't recess the screws. They did, however, recess the clip, and I don't recall whether that clip is switchable or not. It looks like that should be a plug, but it is not milled out to the butt of the knife, the pommel of the knife, as it is on this side. So my suspicion is it's going to be right-handed only. Great action on the knife though, just so snappy. So that's the Tule. We're going to come back and do some quick measurements later. This guy is the 802G, and this one also comes in, this is in 154 cm. This is a half titanium, half G10, in this case kind of a desert tan or really brown G10. It is, let's just check here. Not sure if it's steel. Nope, solid G10 on the show side. Titanium with a titanium clip on the clip side. And it is a steel insert in the lock bar. Smooth action. Fires great. You can use the thumb, and yeah, you can finger flick this guy, so you're all set. Almost a spear point sort of a blade here. In fact, I would call it a spear point, drop point. Good amount of meat. Really nice, handsome looking clip, and interestingly milled handle. This knife hasn't gotten a lot of reviews, hasn't gotten a lot of attention, but it is a performer. Got a great blade shape and ergos for just about anything. You could use this as a tactical blade, Marshall blade stuff. Holds nicely in point down. You got a ramp there for your thumb. Just a real basic but nicely designed large size knife again. Finally, we're going to go to the V2, V like Victory 2, a beautiful Tanto. This is out of N690CO. We have G10 on both sides, interestingly milled, very much in the Rike kind of space age fashion. If you saw my review on the M2, that's a pretty wild knife. And the M3 as well. You can look those up on the Rike playlist. Nice access to the liner, or the release, I should say. A rounded flipper tab. Some people like it, some people don't. Pretty good aggressive jimping on it. Easy to open. However, you've got this interesting hole here. Looks like a target. And that can engage the thumb. I haven't tried finger flicking it. Not so much good for that. So we'll say you can use your thumb on it, definitely. It's a circle with some sharp enough shoulders to grab your thumb. But just look at the beautiful grind on this Tanto, huh? Really, really nice. And they all have that same nice soft bead blast. Let's do some quick measurements. So beginning with the Tule, overall, if we don't count the clip, 8 3/4 inches, with a blade of 3 3/4 and a cutting edge of, we're going to call it 3 3/4. While I got the tape out, the 802G is a little bit longer because of that pointier pommel. We're going to call it 9 inches. And it's got a blade of 3 7/8. Cutting edge, about the same, 3 7/8. As I said, they're all about the same size, large knife. And the V2 is about the same length as the 802, coming right up on 9 inches. A little bit longer blade. I'm going to call that 8 inches, 4 inches, talking about the blade. And a 3 7/8 inch cutting edge. Let's get the calipers out. See what the blade stock is on these guys. Should be similar. So the Thule, we're going to call it a 3mm blade stock. 4mm on the 802. And on the V2, back to 3mm. Switching to inches, handle thickness on the Thule, 0.55. Handle thickness on the 802, 0.55. Handle thickness on the V2, 0.58, just a little bit thicker. Let's go to the weights. Make some room for the scale. And let's start with the lightweight of the bunch, the Rike Thule. 3.52 ounces. 3.52. The 802G. 4.57. And the V2, 5 ounces, the heavyweight of the bunch. So from 3.5 ounces to 5 ounces, it's a pretty good range. And I'll give you another look around before we leave. These are 3 not to be forgotten. The only one I'm not sure of whether they're still making is the V2. So let's take a look at that first. Look at that interesting lanyard hole in the G10 back strap near the pommel, otherwise wide open. And one of the reasons it makes this heavier is there is no weight relieving on this knife. It doesn't feel that heavy, but again, it's 5 ounces. Not a super heavy knife, but 5 ounces might be an ounce or so more than you'd like to carry. However, you're getting pretty much a 4-inch blade and a great looking tanto and a good steel. N690CO is used quite a bit by Fox knives and is used in the Fox made Bastinelli knives for the most part. On the this is the 802G. G is for the tan or brown color. G is not for green in this case. And as I said, this one is half G10 completely and half titanium. And you lose about a half an ounce over the V2. Usable opening hole, as I demoed before, and a very nice flipper. And the Thule, unique because it is integral G10. There may be other knives since this was introduced to come out as integral G10 knives, I'm not sure. But on all of these you got your deep carry clip as well. And that's a titanium pivot support which is inserted through the G10 handle because the halves do not come apart, being integral. And this does come in other colors and is still available. I checked Blade HQ. Now, I think the 802 is also still available. The only one in question is the V2. So there you have some Rike EDC knives falling into the roughly $125 to $140 range. So we'll call them sort of a mid-tier knife. They're not budget because they're not under 100 and they're not even well below 100. So let me know what you think. Thought I'd put this together and revisit these really nice Rike knives. You may find a blade here that you'd be interested in. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. This Old Sword, signing out.